Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said, himself, there's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited. And Senator Kennedy said, the answer is no one. And you said, for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of inmates. What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And you are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
The hearing erupted into chaos when Senator Adam Schiff confronted FBI Director Kash Patel over explosive allegations of political retaliation and the long-shrouded Jeffrey Epstein files. What began as a routine oversight session violently collapsed into a shocking high-stakes showdown. Once the loudest voice demanding the full release of every Epstein document, Patel now lashes out in fury, dodging the darkest questions with raw desperation.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
His behavior raises alarming doubts about whether powerful names are being shielded at the highest levels of government. The panic was unmistakable. Patel's fiery deflection only deepened suspicions that something critical remains hidden from the American people. Yet this was only the beginning. The same pattern of calculated ambiguity emerged earlier when Senator Schiff pressed him relentlessly on whether he had orchestrated political purges inside the FBI itself. Stay with me, this gets far more explosive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, during your confirmation hearing, you made several important commitments. For instance, you told Senator Coons, there will be no politicization at the FBI. There will be no retributive actions taken by any FBI should I be confirmed as FBI director. So let me ask you, very specifically, did you ever take any action to terminate or discipline an FBI agent or employee in whole or in part as retribution for being part of an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
No.
You also committed, you assured Senator Blumenthal, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. So you're testifying today that you played no role in the firing of even a single FBI agent for political retribution?
None for political retribution.
And if any FBI agent said you did, they would be lying. Is that your testimony?
I'm only speaking to my actions. Everybody is allowed to make their allegations.
Oh, no, these are allegations against you. And so, Mr. Patel, if FBI, senior FBI agents or employees said that you were firing them for political retribution reasons because of the cases they were assigned, you're saying they would be lying. Is that
anyone that was terminated at the FBI was done so for failing to meet the standards, uphold their constitutional oath, and effectuate the mission.
Well, by meet the standards, are you talking about meet the standards of protecting the president under any circumstance?
No.
You also guaranteed Senator Blumenthal that every FBI employee will be held to the same, absolute same standard. No one will be terminated for case assignments. Are you testifying today that you never terminated anyone at the FBI, in whole or in part, because of a prior case assignment?
No one at the FBI is terminated for case assignments alone.
Well, I'm asking about you, Mr. Patel. Did you, in whole or in part, terminate anyone at the FBI because they worked on the Trump investigation or because they worked on January 6th?
No one at the FBI has been terminated for case assignments alone.
Okay, you're saying alone. Does that mean they were terminated in part because they were assigned to a January 6th case or assigned to the Mar-a-Lago case? You're being very precise here, Mr. Patel. You're saying alone. That means they were fired in part because they were assigned those cases. Is that your testimony?
Absolutely not. But if you want to keep putting words in my mouth,
then let
me
ask you, let's strip away the word alone. Did you terminate or participate in any discipline of any FBI employee in whole or in part because of their work on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th? Yes or no?
Any terminations at the FBI by employees?
No, I'm asking you a very specific question.
And I'm going to answer the question, but you don't like the answer because it's the truth and it guts your narrative.
I want an answer to my question. I don't want an answer to someone else's question. So let me just be precise, and I ask for a yes or no answer. Did you ever terminate or discipline an FBI employee in whole or in part because they had been assigned or worked on an investigation of Donald Trump or January 6th?
FBI
yes or no?
employees are only terminated
yes
if they fail to uphold their oaths of office and duty.
You're not answering my question.
I don't have to answer your question yes or no because you're setting up a trap so you can have a media narrative.
I'm not setting up a trap,
and I'm not giving it to you.
Unless it's true that you fired people.
People have been terminated at the FBI who failed to uphold the standards that the FBI requires them to uphold.
Did you tell anyone at the FBI that all FBI employees who they identified who had worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
Say that I would remove people for case assignments?
That that people that were identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs. Did you tell that to someone at the FBI?
People are not removed
just
for case
answer my
assignments.
question. Just answer my question. Did you tell that to someone?
People are not removed for case
no,
assignments.
You're not answering my question.
And I would
Mr.
never
Patel,
tell anyone.
Did you tell someone at the FBI that FBI employees identified as having worked on cases against President Trump would be removed from their jobs? Yes or no? Did you tell someone that?
I would never tell anyone at the FBI that they're being removed for basically their case assignments.
Okay, so anyone who said that would be lying. Is that your testimony?
Anyone can say whatever they want.
No, I know, but you're saying they were a liar.
I'm telling you what I said.
Because this is in the complaint against you, Mr. Patel. So you're saying Mr. Driscoll and others are liars.
I'm not going to address the complaint in the ongoing
Okay, well then let me ask you, have you ever told anyone at the FBI that the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten it, and that your job depended on the removal of agents who worked on cases against the president?
No.
Did you ever tell anyone that?
No.
Okay. Did you ever tell anyone that you knew these summary firings you were undertaking were illegal, likely illegal, and that you would be sued and later deposed? Did you ever tell anyone that?
No firings at the FBI or terminations were done for anything other than justified
Did you ever
cause.
tell anyone that, Mr.
No,
Patel? Why don't you
no
answer my question?
terminations at the FBI were ever done in my tenure for anything other than failing
Did you ever
to
tell
uphold
anyone
the
that,
oath
Mr.
of
Patel? You willing to
office
answer
or
the question?
the FBI.
You could see exactly how many times Schiff tried to get a straight yes or no answer out of Kash Patel, and every single time he dodged it. 6 different ways, 6 attempts to cut through the noise, but Patel kept falling back on that same carefully prepared line about failing to meet the standards. It wasn't a slip-up. It was deliberate. And that single word alone really tells you everything. When Patel says no one was terminated for their case assignments alone, he's quietly admitting the assignment played a part, just not the only part.
In the collective, all of those statements are taken out of grotesque context. And anyone that thinks my 16 years of service isn't exemplary on how I would proceed if confirmed as FBI is intentionally putting false information into the public ether and creating more public discourse. The only thing that will matter if I'm confirmed as a director of the FBI is a de-weaponized, depoliticized system of law enforcement completely devoted to rigorous obedience to the Constitution and a singular standard of justice.
Then, almost in passing, the name Driscoll comes up. A senior FBI official who filed a formal complaint claiming he was pushed out because of the Trump and January 6 cases he handled. Patel didn't deny it. He simply said he wouldn't address the complaint and added that people are free to say whatever they want. That's about as close as you can get to dismissing someone without calling them a liar outright. The same director who promised the Senate there would be no politicization and no retaliation now can't give a clear no when asked if agents were punished for the cases they worked. If experienced professionals can be quietly removed for following the evidence, then no investigation touching powerful figures is truly safe anymore.
No, I don't know how any of us can have that confidence for a number of reasons. One is, not only is Patel incompetent, but he is firing all the competent people. He's taking agents off of these important investigations, like sex trafficking, like counterterrorism, like malicious foreign interference. And what is he doing with them? He's putting them on immigration raids. So it's the diversion of resources, the incompetence at the very top, and the getting rid of people who are the true professionals. And I have to imagine morale at the Bureau is just at a all-time low, because how can you respect someone like Patel? My concluding comments to him after our back and forth is, you can take an internet troll and make him FBI director, but he's still not going to be anything more than an internet troll.
And this was only the beginning, because right after that, Schiff moved on to the one topic Patel clearly did not want to discuss, the Epstein files.
So let me move on. Let me move on to the Epstein files. You said you're the most transparent FBI director in history, so I'm going to put you to the test. In 2024, you were asked by Glenn Beck about Epstein's Black Book. And you said, he asked, who has Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book? And you said, Black Book, FBI. And he said, but who? That is, I mean theirs. And you said, oh, that's under the direct control of the director of the FBI. That's what you said. Was that true, Mr. Patel?
I'll rely on you quoting it accurately. I did that a couple
Was
of
it
years
true
ago.
what you represented to Mr. Beck and the president's supporters out there, or were you lying? Was it true that the Black Book, Epstein's Black Book, was in the possession of the FBI director?
The Black Book was in the possession of the FBI.
Okay, so now that you're the FBI director, you have possession of the Black Book, right?
That index has been released.
So you have Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book?
What is known as JeffreyEpstein's Black Book has been released by us.
And you released it. And let me follow up on Senator Kennedy's question, because he asked you, and I'll be very precise here. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself? And you said, himself, there's no credible information, none. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And Kennedy, the information we have, again, is limited. And Senator Kennedy said, the answer is no one. And you said, for the information we have. So is it your testimony today that in all of the Epstein files, that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked no one to anyone but himself? Is that your testimony, Mr.
I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic anyone else.
Did he traffic any? any young woman to someone other than himself? That was Mr. Kennedy's question.
And I said the information that 3 administrations have had access to have made determinations that there are no investigative leads that were credible to prosecute and investigate any others. I'm specifically stating
whether your testimony today.
You just read it, and I said it 10 minutes ago, so let the record reflect my testimony.
I just want to make sure there's no misunderstanding, because there are victims like Virginia Guifer who have testified otherwise, who have said otherwise, and you're telling the American people today that the Epstein list is a single name and it's Jeffrey Epstein. That's what we're to believe?
That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're saying, and you can say whatever you want.
Let me ask you this. When Todd Blanche went to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, she said, but did I think these guys were coming for that? I really don't. If you met Epstein, there's no way that this cast of characters, of which it's extraordinary, and some are in your cabinet, who you value as your coworkers and you know would be with him if he was a creep or because they wanted sexual favors. A man wants sexual favors, he will find out. They didn't have to come to Epstein for that. And the next question Todd Blanche, the president's former criminal defense lawyer, asked is not who in the cabinet. Who are you referring to? His question is, so when's the last time you think you were with Mr. Epstein when he got a massage?
2 contradictions just collided in front of the entire Senate, and neither one has a clean explanation. Contradiction 1. Back in 2024, private citizen Kash Patel told a national radio audience that Epstein's black book sits under the direct control of the FBI director. Now that he actually is the FBI director, he suddenly can't confirm he's ever held it. He only confirms it was in the possession of the FBI, a far vaguer claim than the confident one he made when he had nothing to lose. Contradiction 2 is the one that should genuinely unsettle you. According to Ghislaine Maxwell's own account of her interview with Todd Blanche, the president's former personal defense attorney, now inside the Justice Department, she described an extraordinary cast of characters around Epstein, some of whom she says are sitting in the current presidential cabinet. Instead of following up on who those cabinet members are, the transcript shows Blanche's very next question was about massages, not names. Massages. Schiff caught that gap immediately. And notice the pattern again. When directly asked whether Epstein trafficked anyone besides himself, Patel doesn't say no. He says Epstein didn't traffic anyone else one moment, then retreats to the information we have. The next, the same rhetorical trick as the word alone from the retaliation questioning earlier. A survivor, Virginia Giuffre, testified under oath to the opposite.
I was trafficked to a lot of types of different men. I was trafficked to other billionaires. I was trafficked to politicians, professors, even royalty. So the circles that Jeffrey Epstein ran in weren't your typical setting of human trafficking, and it was the elite of the world. It was the people who run the world. It was the most powerful people in the world, and those are our leaders. Those are the people that we are supposed to look up to. It's corrupt. It's corrupt to the core.
This is the man who once positioned himself as the one who would finally drag every name connected to Epstein into the light. Today, pressed on whether the FBI truly controls the full files, his answers turn slippery and incomplete, not the tone of someone with nothing to hide. The Maxwell exchange is where it stings most. She pointed to a wider circle of powerful people. Instead of chasing that thread, the conversation moved on. Whether that's caution, bureaucracy, or something else, one thing is clear. The promise of total transparency just met its first real test and stumbled. What comes next digs even deeper into exactly who was in that circle.
So let me ask you, who are those cabinet members that Ghislaine Maxwell was referring to that were part of this cast of characters associated with Mr. Epstein? Who are they?
The Deputy Attorney General took the aggressive step that no one else did and interviewed Ms. Maxwell for 2 days, and we released the entirety of that transcript. I do not have that transcript in front of me. You're picking it piecemeal. The American public can read the entirety of that.
One last question, because you clearly won't tell us the cabinet members associated with Mr. Epstein. Let me ask you one last question, and that is, right after she gives this testimony in front of an FBI agent, among others, she's transferred